Hello, and welcome to Lecture 6. In the last lecture, we focused on how we can take other people's functions and use them as our own. We also learned how to make our homemade functions so we can use it ourselves. As a continuation from the last lecture, today we will find out exactly what functions we can use from other people. From the last lecture, Stacy, she created two functions. One added two numbers together, and one multiplied two numbers together. And I borrowed them to solve my personal math problem. Now, when Stacy was writing her functions, she didn't care about my problem. She has enough problem of her own. She probably wanted to write the functions to solve her own stuff. Let's say she was trying to solve this equation, 4 plus 9 times 3. If we go back to her code, let's write down the equation she was trying to solve. 4 plus 9 times 3. The logical step to solve this problem is to first multiply 9 and 3 together and take the result and add it to 4. She would first call the function multiply and tell it to multiply 9 and 3 together. She will call the result a. If the function worked correctly, a should be 27. She will call the function adder and add 4 and a together. She will call the result answer. And lastly, she will print out the value of answer to make sure it worked. So, if she did this correctly, she would get 31 when she runs the program. Let's try to run the program. See how it prints out 31? That's the answer. Now, I want you to remember that after Stacy had programmed, I have to solve a problem too. So in my code, I imported Stacy's functions and used them as mine. But now that Stacy has added code inside her program, I have a problem. When I import Stacy's code, her entire program will run. So if I were to run my program, it will print out her program and mine. Let me try to run my program. See how it prints out both 17 and 31. 17 was for me, and 31 was from her program. I don't want her program running in mine. I just want to steal her functions. So what can I do? Nothing. I can't do anything. It's all up to Stacy to be nice about it. If Stacy had cared enough to add one little line, everything would have worked fine. This is the line. Run the program only if the name of a program is the same as the main one running currently. So when my program is running, she's not the main one, so her code won't run. Her program will only run if she's the main program. That's all it says. This way, I can share her program without interfering her stuff. I want you to notice that everything inside is indented. This shows ownership. Everything that's indented will be what's ignored when my program is running. Now if I save her program and go back to my program to run my code, everything that's in hers will be ignored. Let's run the program. Notice how it's only printing out 17 when no longer running her code. Now that we have successfully stolen Stacy's program, I want to tell you a secret. You don't want to steal from Stacy. She's a bad programmer.
Hey, that's not nice.
You want to steal from the professionals. You can write your own functions, but a lot of times it's better to steal from the professionals. Believe it or not, we have been doing this all along. When we import the TK into library, we're actually using their functions. Let's check out what we've done so far. These are the commands that we have learned from the previous classes. As you can see, we use root equals TK to create a window, and button equals button to create a button. From this, you can guess that TK is a function, and button is also a function. When we call the button, we're telling another function to create a button for us. This is a good thing. You don't want to make a button or a window from scratch. It's a pain in the butt. When we import tkinter library, just like importing Stacy's program, we are using functions inside tkinter. This library is built into our Python, so all we have to do is import it. At this point, you might be wondering, so when we import tkinter, what functions can I use? For this question, you're in luck. In the textbook, I have prepared a list of all the things you can make. Let's check this out in the textbook. From this chart, you see that all the function names are in the first column. The description of the function is in the second column. The third column shows you what it looks like. The last column gives you an example code to call each function. Now that you have this chart, you have the power to create a lot of cool stuff. You might be tempted to memorize this chart, but don't. Don't fall for the temptation. I don't have it memorized. I just use the chart whenever I need to make something. Before you get too excited and start programming, let's be patient and go through each one of them briefly. First, we have the button. The button is easy. You push it and it does something. Next, we have the canvas widget. You can use the canvas to draw pictures and graphs. You can even put a digital picture in the canvas. Make sure that the picture is in a GIF format, like the way I have it here. You just have to make sure to put the picture in the same folder and put the name in the same location, and the picture will come out. The checkbox allows